The year was 2784 by the Galactic Concordance calendar, and the Vera Dominion had ruled the Orion Arm for 9 centuries without serious challenge. Their ships were living sculptures of crystalline lattice and neutronium bone. Their soldiers wore armor that rewrote local physics. Their scientists had mapped the birth of every star within 5,000 light-years and declared, with the serene certainty of gods, that nothing remained to surprise them. So when the long-range observatory at Kale 9 detected a single, low-power electromagnetic pulse from the third planet of an unremarkable yellow dwarf, the high strategist Tail Veracor laughed aloud in the Council of Petals. "A carbon-based species still burning hydrocarbon sludge for power," he said, projecting the primitive radio signal onto the chamber's living walls. "They are announcing their existence the way an infant wails. Shall we catalog them and move on?" The other petals rippled in amusement. The youngest among them, Lyra Verisol, fresh from the Academy of Temporal Aesthetics, raised a delicate manipulator. "Strategist, the signal is music. They are transmitting art." Tail's crystalline crest flashed violet with contempt. "Art from a pre-atomic civilization is like a cave painting."
Charming.
"Irrelevant. Mark the system tier 9 lowest priority and forget it." The motion passed unanimously. They forgot Earth for 34 years. 34 years was long enough for humanity to go from chemical rockets to fusion torches, from the moon to Proxima Centauri, from nation-states to the Terran Concord. It was long enough for the first child born with a CRISPR-derived, stellar gene package to grow up, enlist in the Concord Navy, and become Captain Aishwarya Singh of the heavy cruiser TCS Indomitable. It was not long enough, by Vera standards, for anything interesting to happen. Then, in 2818, a Vera trade convoy vanished in the Perseus transit lane. No debris. No distress beacon. Only a final, garbled burst. Impossible, they're using gravity like. The Council of Petals convened in emergency session. Tail Veracor, older now, his lattice beginning to cloud with age, demanded answers. "Pirates," suggested one petal. "Malfunction?" offered another. Lyra Verisol, now a senior xenohistorian, spoke quietly. "The lane passes within 8 light-years of the Tier 9 system. The primitives." Tail's crest flared crimson. "Do not insult us, Lyra. A species that required 2 centuries to reach its own moon cannot threaten a convoy escorted by 3 phase dreadnoughts." But the next week, another convoy vanished. Then a battle group sent to investigate. Then the entire 4th Expeditionary Bloom, 40 capital ships, simply ceased to exist inside a sphere 2 light minutes across. The last transmission was a single Vera scream translated into every language the Dominion knew. They folded space with sound. Tail Veracor did something no high strategist had done in 900 years. He requested a war bloom, total mobilization against a single star. The Dominion assembled the largest fleet in its history, 1,400 vessels, from living planetoids to darting crystal interceptors, all singing in perfect harmony through their quantum entanglement choir. They translated into the Sol system on a vector that should have placed them in high orbit before the primitives could react. Instead, they arrived inside a storm. Not a storm of plasma or radiation. A storm of music. Every human ship, station, and habitat in the system was broadcasting. Beethoven's Ninth thundered from the lunar shipyards. The old 21st century electronic piece, Sandstorm, pulsed from Martian defense arrays. Tibetan monk chants layered over death metal from the Jovian refineries. The waveforms interfered, reinforced, cancelled, and reformed into something that was no longer music, but pure geometry. The Vera fleet's living lattices began to vibrate. Not metaphorically. The neutronium bones resonated at frequencies their designers had never considered. Cracks propagated along fractal fault lines. The entanglement choir screamed as every ship heard every other ship's death throes simultaneously across all possible futures. Tail Veracor, aboard the flagship Eternal Canicle, watched his fleet disintegrate in real time. He opened a channel on the primitive's crude radio band and spoke in flawless, furious Mandarin, English, and Hindi, languages as linguists had marked extinct or moribund. Who are you? He demanded. What sorcery is this? A human woman appeared on the screen. Dark skin, silver-flecked hair cropped short, eyes the color of old steel. Captain Aishwarya Singh, commanding the Terran First Fleet from the dreadnought TCS Yamamoto. We, she said in calm, accentless Vera, are the species you forgot to catalog properly. Tail's crest shattered along a stress fracture. Shards floated in the zero-G of the bridge like amethyst snow. You are pre-singularity, he hissed. You should not have mathematics beyond differential equations. Singh smiled without warmth. We never needed your kind of singularity. We took a different path. She transmitted a data burst. Tail's analysts opened it and recoiled as though burned. It was a single equation, elegant as a haiku, terrible as a supernova. Nabla T equals rho sin omega d plus phi psi. The Vera had weaponized gravity by brute force manipulation of Planck-scale wormholes. Humans had discovered that space-time itself was acoustic at certain scales, that the vacuum could be tuned like a drum, that baryonic matter was mostly empty space, waiting for the right chord to collapse or expand it. They called the discipline sonokinesis. The fleet that now surrounded the broken Vera Armada was only the visible fraction. The rest of humanity's strength was in the music. Singh continued, your ships resonate at 0.74 Thz when your shields phase lock. We composed a symphony in that key. You are already dead. You simply haven't stopped moving yet. A pause. Somewhere in the background, a child's voice sang an old lullaby in Tagalog, and the eternal canticle's hull began to fold like wet paper. Tail found his voice. You will not survive the Dominion. We are a billion worlds. And every one of them sings, Singh interrupted. We've been listening for 30 years. We know your resonance frequencies the way you once knew ours. Surrender, and we will be merciful. Resist, and the Orion arm learns a new definition of silence. In the Council of Petals, light years away, the remaining leaders watched through Tail's dying feed. They saw the human fleet arrange itself into a perfect dodecahedron around the Vera remnants. They saw the humans begin to hum, a low, rising OM that should have been harmless. Every Vera on every world felt their internal lattices begin to vibrate in sympathetic harmony. Crystal towers shattered on the capital. The living oceans flash-boiled along standing waves. The Dominion died singing a song it had never written. Tail Veracor, last high strategist, broadcast one final message before his body dissolved into glittering dust. We mocked the primitive species, he whispered. We were the primitives. The feed cut to static. Then, across every channel the Vera had ever used, across every frequency from radio to gravitic, the humans spoke in one voice, layered in 10,000 accents and languages. This is Earth. We do not conquer. We harmonize. Any who raise hand or manipulator against another sentient will learn the true power of a species that turned campfire songs into weapons of cosmic scale. We offer you friendship, trade, and music. We also offer you the alternative. Choose quickly. The next movement is about to begin. In the centuries that followed, scholars would argue about the exact moment the balance of power in the galaxy shifted. Some pointed to the day humanity cracked sonic-kinetic theory while arguing over chord progressions in a Berlin nightclub. Others dated it to the first time a child on Ganymede hummed a perfect fifth and accidentally bent a steel girder into a Mobius strip. But every child on Earth, and later on 100,000 worlds, learned the same lullaby their grandparents had weaponized against the stars. They sang it softly, the way one might handle a loaded gun wrapped in silk. And the galaxy listened, because humanity had looked into the void, heard its own echo, and decided to sing back louder.